Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, Black Americans on TikTok are having a fit. Some African immigrant person got on stage last night at the Grammys. He won a Grammy. He's singing country music, which is a creation of Black Americans. And he got up there and said his Grammy win was for the immigrants and that immigrants built America.
Say, immigrants built this country.
Here we go.
Actually, so this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
Immigrants did not build the United States of America. Shaboozey talking about, oh, thank you for bringing your culture and your music. Shaboozey does country music. Country music was founded, discovered, and created by Black American people. Shaboozey, from what I know, is an African man. I believe he's Nigerian. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know for sure he's African. And over in Africa, why couldn't you pop in Africa? If y'all built this country, how did you know that there was any place to come to? You contradicted yourself, Shaboozey, by saying, oh, we were able to come here to seek better opportunity. That's because the country and the opportunity was already here because of Black Americans.
And that is why Black Americans are upset. Immigrants did not build this country. Immigrants came here after this country was built. That is the message. And for whatever reason, we have to keep saying it because these immigrants are going to keep jumping up saying immigrants built the country. They're trying to take credit for something that they didn't do. So it's really making Black Americans mad. Here's Donnie on timeout with what he has to say about it.
Right, you just received the award for country music. It gets no more American than country music. Immigrants had nothing to do when it came to the creation of country music itself, engineered by Black Americans and gate kept by white tea Americans. Right? It's as American as apple pie. And then Beyonce is the one who opened up more doors for him to expand his career, and then turn around and smacked the descendants of ADOS, the descendants of free men who built this country in the face on Black History Month. Now, if you want to incorporate or include immigrants into whatever narrative or agenda you pushing, it should be a truthful narrative and agenda. But far as immigrants laying the foundation of the infrastructure of this country, they had nothing to do with it. And for the expansion of this country, white immigrants, right? Because remember, they were keeping all the Black immigrants out of this country. So if anybody had anything to do with the expansion of the infrastructure in this country, was white tea immigrants. Because Black immigrants didn't come until later, far down. But yeah, what a smack to the face of the descendants of ADOS and free men. Happy Black American History Month. Period.
When people say immigrants built this country, it sounds harmless until you remember who actually built the foundation of the United States. And that's why comments like this hit a nerve for a lot of Black Americans. Let's be clear. Immigrants have absolutely contributed to America. That's not the debate. The issue is when a broad political slogan gets repeated without context, and suddenly it starts rewriting history. Because when you say immigrants built this country, you're not just making a statement, you're stepping into a conversation with a very specific historical wound. The United States was built on the forced labor of enslaved Black people, not immigrants, not new arrivals, people who were brought here involuntarily and whose labor created the economic backbone of the early United States. That is not a metaphor. It's not a slogan. That's documented history. So when a celebrity repeats a feel good line like, immigrants built this country, some Black Americans hear something very different. They hear erasure. They hear their ancestors being pushed out of the story they literally built. And here's the part that these people are overlooking. Black Americans didn't immigrate here. Our story is not interchangeable with anybody else's. And because of that, Black Americans don't want to be folded into anybody else's immigrant story, not out of hostility, but out of accuracy, out of respect for the fact that our lineage in this country began with captivity, not choice, like the immigrants did. So when someone collapses all of that into one big melting pot sentence, it feels like two completely different experiences are being blended together, one voluntary, one forced, and they're treated like they're the same thing, and they are not. That's why the reaction is so strong. It's not about one singer, it's about a pattern of language that keeps minimizing a very specific, very painful, very foundational history. And this isn't about attacking anybody, it's passionate, but it's not about being confrontational. It's about accuracy. It's about memory. It's about refusing to let political slogans replace historical fact. Immigrant stories matter. I don't mean to suggest that they don't. But Black American history matters. And getting their history right is very important. They are not the same story. An immigrant story and the Black American story are not the same. And pretending that they are only creates more tension. So when people ask, why are Black Americans upset about this? The answer is simple, because history deserves precision, because words matter, and because the people who built the foundation of this country should never be spoken over, not by accident, not by slogan, not by anybody. And there's another layer people forget. Many of the people repeating these slogans only arrived in the United States in the late 20th century. They weren't even here during the eras that actually built the country's infrastructure, the economy, or the political institutions. They're just up talking, repeating something they've heard somebody else say. They don't know the depth of what went into the making of this country, and they couldn't have immigrated here at all before the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, which changed the law, thanks to Black Americans. They don't even know that. They think that all of a sudden America just opened up and they just walked in. They don't have a clue about what they're talking about. So when new arrivals speak as if they personally or their communities built the United States from the ground up, it comes across as historically inaccurate at best and unintentionally dismissive at worst. That's why Black Americans react strongly. Not out of hostility, but because our history is not a slogan, and we refuse to let anyone, intentionally or not, rewrite the history our ancestors paid for with their lives. And FYI, I re-uploaded this video because the original video had a comment from X from somebody saying Nas 316 or something like that. And I thought it was the rapper Nas, but it was not the rapper Nas. And somebody brought that to my attention. So I took the video down, edited that out, and re-uploaded it because I don't want any YouTube trouble. Okay, y'all? Let me know what you think about this. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful evening.